Hello everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 13 mini and compare it against the iPhone 12 mini and see which particular iPhone is a better one for you in 2025. Now, the big thing to keep in mind here between these two devices is that number one, these two phones came out a couple of years ago, so they're not really the latest and greatest anymore, but they were basically some of the smallest, best phones that you could buy throughout those particular years. So let's go ahead and take a look which one is a better one here, or see which one is a better value per dollar. If you want to pick up these phones or some other iPhones I would recommend buying this year though, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of the iPhone 12 mini, this particular iPhone came out back in 2020, basically 2020. And this was one of those devices that definitely when it first came out, it was kind of an interesting device to kind of think about because it was a smaller iPhone. And a lot of people at that moment probably did want a smaller one when it came down to it, which was something that was really cool. So on the front side of the iPhone 12 mini, you're basically getting a 5.4 inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So with this type of panel for the most part, it is a pretty decent looking, panel. It's not terrible. You're getting basically 1200 nits of peak brightness, and it does look pretty nice. Like I do think if you're going to go through and pick up a panel, this thing still looks pretty good, still looks pretty sharp for the most part. A little bit of a notch up top, but still a good looking device on the front side. With the iPhone 13 mini, this phone is giving you the exact same size display, so it's still going to be 5.4 inches, still going to be Super Retina XDR OLED display, and it's still overall is still a very nice looking device. I do think this one, a little bit of a smaller notch at the very top, so not really the biggest difference there. But if you are going to go through and pick up a device, that is still a really nice type of layout to have. So definitely when it comes down to both of them look fairly similar on the front side. The bottom, both of them are giving you lightning ports at the bottom, which is still very nice to have. You're getting flat sides all throughout, which again is very nice. On the back side, you're getting your solid glass back on the back side of both these phones. So that is something that's really nice to have here. I prefer frosted glass back, but still this thing having, standard glass back is still very good. And then you're getting your dual camera setups on the back side too. But one is they're kind of laid out a little bit different. One's diagonal on the 13 mini. The other one is like up and down like on the iPhone 16s, on the iPhone 12s. So when you take a look at the outside for the most part, both of these phones look pretty good. I like the way they both look. But I will tell you, maybe the 13 mini has it kind of edged out a little bit just because it does kind of look a little bit better, kind of performs a little bit better here and there. But there are a few things that these two phones are missing out on that a lot of phones have basically nowadays. Number one, you guessed it, ProMotion displays. These things do not have a 120 Hz display on the front. So that right there could be a pretty big downside. If you're going to go through and pick up a newer phone, it would be kind of nice to have a device that's still going to be giving you a better type of, display on the front. Unfortunately, this type of device isn't really going to be giving you that there, which is kind of a little bit of a downside if you're going through and getting this type of device. On top of that, no, triple camera setups on these things, no USB Type-C either. So just kind of keep those things in mind. Not really big deals, but just small things to kind of keep in mind in the back of your head. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. From a price tag side, the iPhone 12 mini cost about $188 on Amazon. The iPhone 13 mini cost about $287 on Amazon. So from that side too, you're probably going to be getting a little bit of a cheaper price tag on the iPhone 12 mini. And you might think to yourself that is a better deal, but the 13 mini might be giving you a better experience overall, which is something that's really nice. So even though you're spending more money on the 13 mini, it might be a little bit of a better, value, maybe technically the way you're looking at it. And that starts with the cameras. So their cameras are basically the same thing, to be honest. Two 12 megapixel sensors on the backside, which again is nice to have, not really too many things to kind of think about there. You're going to be getting 12 megapixel sensors on the front side as well, 4K at 60 on the front and the back, which again is nice to have, I guess, depending on how you're looking at it. So it is kind of a nice thing to kind of look at and be able to get these types of devices and still get that type of capability, which is something that I do like a lot because these cameras still perform fairly well for the most part. The thing you're going to have to remember with these types of lenses though, is that no matter which type of camera you're going to be getting, you're probably going to be getting the same type of experience that you'd kind of think about. The only big thing I'd probably think about here though for the most part is that with the iPhone 13 mini, you are basically going to be getting cinematic mode inside of that type of device. So getting cinematic mode is really cool. I love having that type of capability, and you are essentially going to be getting that type of capability when it kind of comes down to it. So I do think from that side, getting that type of device, it is really cool with the 13 mini, but I still think the 12 mini's camera is still like fairly good when it comes down to it as well. So from that side too, that kind of covers it up there as well. When it comes down to software longevity though, this is a very interesting thing because on the iPhone, 12 mini, that this phone is still supported with software and so is the iPhone 13 mini. But when we're taking a look at these two devices, it does make a little bit more sense in my personal, brain to think about, hey, on something like the iPhone 12 mini, this type of device, it does kind of make a lot more sense to go ahead and kind of pick up with the 13 mini because that phone does have a higher likelihood of lasting longer. So if you are wanting a phone that is going to be lasting for a longer period of time, well then that might end up going for something like an iPhone 13 mini. Because that device is going to be giving you more capability. It's going to be giving you, like I said before, a longer lasting piece of software. So it really just depends on how you want to kind of look at it. I still think the 12 mini is good because you can still buy that phone. It's still going to be fine. But definitely from what I'm seeing, the 13 mini is probably the better one when it kind of comes down to it from that side as well. So from that side too, that kind of covers it up there a little bit as well. Now when it comes down to their batteries, this was also something very interesting. The iPhone 13 mini does have a bigger size battery inside of it than the iPhone 12 mini. The 12 mini has a 2227 mAh battery. The iPhone 13 mini has a 2438 mAh battery. So from that side as well, you're probably going to be getting a longer lasting battery for my test that I've done inside of your iPhone 13 mini than inside of your iPhone 12 mini. And finally, when it comes down to the performance, the iPhone 12 mini is going to be giving you that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside with 4GB of RAM, where the iPhone 13 mini is going to be giving you the Apple A15 Bionic chip inside with 4GB of RAM. So this side in and of itself, once again, you're probably going to be taking a look at the performance and you'll probably see that the performance of your iPhone 13 mini is going to be overall faster, right? That is going to be the phone that's going to be giving you probably the overall faster experience. It's going to feel like a better, faster phone. And I do think that is a really, really important thing to kind of think about with that type of device. Because if you are wanting a phone that's going to be lasting for a longer period of time from a performance side, it's definitely going to be the 13 mini. That device is going to perform really well. It's going to be really good for the most part. But the 12 mini is still fairly fast as well. But I did have some differences when I did go ahead and kind of take a look at something like an iPhone 12 mini and 13 mini or an iPhone 12 and an iPhone 13. I've definitely noticed differences between those types of devices when it came down to it. So overall, to kind of sum it up, I think definitely going from an iPhone 12 mini to a 13 mini is an update that's worth it. I think it's definitely worth upgrading to. And if you do have the money, then I definitely recommend going up to an iPhone 13 mini from an iPhone 12 mini. If you like a smaller sized iPhone, then definitely the 13 mini is a really, really good. It's almost like a perfect phone for that small size. It's just missing USB-C and a ProMotion display. Other than that, that phone is still doing a really good job. I will say though, if you have the option to, maybe swinging up to something like an iPhone 14 series, if you can go up to like size. I think an iPhone 14 Pro is probably a really good, type of phone to pick up, but I still think an iPhone 13 mini is still a really good device too. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.